Good morning. So I am gonna hustle up because I'm gonna have some workers out back to help, not to help, to do that back patio. And I'm so glad it's gonna get done. It's gonna be the one thing that's gonna help me enjoy a little more every single day. And eventually, I'm gonna get off my rear end and try to find the energy to put up the mosquito netting to go around. So that'll be nice. Sometimes the issue is the breezes that come through that make the mosquito netting flow too much. Hi. So I'm gonna have to get some tie backs as well. I have the netting, I just don't have the tie backs. But I do have some. I have an old curtain I could cut up. Wouldn't that be nice? Look at that boy. Hey, Sir Frankie. Did you have a nice walk today with Mama? Yeah. Did you? Did you? Was you a good boy? All right. So, what do you want to talk about today? Well, I can tell you this. Sometimes I can talk about how to make your life easier all I want. Do I practice what I preach? Yes. I can tell you about life's challenges, ups and downs. Oh, the downs. Yeah. And the ups. And do I practice what I preach? Am I sharing what's true? Yes. That's one of the things about me is I'm pretty genuine. Now, do I get lost sometimes? Yes. Sometimes I get lost. Why? Sometimes it's because I'm not being in the routine that it takes to stabilize spiritually with prayer and meditation, with light exercise, with staying on task. Oh God, it feels so good. Staying on task with the things in my home, housework, chores that make me feel clutter-free. How are you doing with being aware of how you're touching your skin when you're putting on makeup? Treating yourself well. And that's part of kind of what I'm getting at with stabilizing mental health. You know, there are things that we can do or not do to help stabilize our mental health. I work with clients all the time that will feel very frustrated with how they feel. But at the end of the day, when you ask them if they do their homework, the answer is no. The answer is no. And I'm not shaming anybody because I remember what that was like. But I can tell you from my own personal experience that if you don't do the work, you're not going to feel better. Our society has somehow, I don't know where it happened because I'm a Midwest girl. I grew up where if you do the work, you get the reward. If you don't do the work, well, basically you go hungry. Ta-da! But for some reason, a couple generations ago, And then, of course, there's the human element, not just generational. Oh my God, that feels so good. There's the human element where sometimes we just get complacent. We think, and this is very real, we just think, okay, this is enough, this is routine, this is good. And then we slip up here and there and forget about doing it, or we get really busy, and then all of a sudden we're out of the routine, and all of a sudden we're just would somebody call it Godsmacked? I think I got that off a Hallmark Channel. It's like, boom. So, yeah, part of that's normal. There's no shame in that. If it happens, it happens. Just get back on the wagon as soon as possible. There's no shame in being human. The problem is when we expect improvements when we're not doing the work. It's like, come on, stop. Oh, let me tell you an experience I had once. I was probably, let's see, I started this journey when I was 29. Well, I thought I started it before that, but I have been reading spiritual and religious information, books, newspapers, since I was a teenager, like 13, 14. But most of that time, I was either an emotional basket case, untethered, and or drinking too much for my brain to actually wrap around the concepts on a deeper level. At 29, I got serious. And I got sober. So all the feelings were raw and real. Raw and real. And I'm telling you, it was amazing. It was so amazing to experience having my eyes opened like that. It was incredible. I mean, I was seeing things in people and myself and my decisions in such a different way that, and I was doing the work. I was doing all my homework. And I was seeing things in such an amazing way that my forgiveness level of myself and others just went through the roof. It was amazing. It was wonderful. I forgave myself. I forgave others. I was feeling peace. I was getting sleep. My tension was lowering. I mean, it didn't happen all of a sudden. And it wasn't like it didn't come and go. It wasn't like every day was heaven. Sometimes some of my what do you call it? Sometimes some of my discoveries took me down a road of having to really experience my feelings. But it was also amazing. And I looked forward to each new awakening. I did. I looked forward to each new awakening. And then, about 3 years in, all of a sudden, Nothing. It was quiet. It's like I stabilized. But I missed the ahas. That's what I was calling them back then, ahas. Like, I would get enough information, something would pop, and then I'd be like, oh, aha. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes that happens. Oh, I was so upset the first time it happened. And I think I was telling one of my gurus that I haven't had an awakening in like 6 months. I feel like God has left me. Well, problem is, God was so good to me in such a short amount of time. Just think, from all that horror that I suffered as a child, terror and loneliness and abandonment, what a jacked up brain I had. Rebellious and spiteful and jealous and envious and insecure and combative and abandoning others without even a goodbye. I was a mess. And to think, in 3 years, I had done so much healing and had so many people placed in my life to help me. It was phenomenal, but I had no way to appreciate it. I was still young and green, and I got so greedy. So I'm just sharing that with you because I want you to know, if you're feeling like life is just not fulfilling or comforting, ask yourself, what can you do today? Right? Those awakenings, that feeling of comfort, they'll come and go. That's the truth. They will definitely come and go. I gotta get that. Okay. They'll definitely come and go. That's just the human psyche. We can only handle so much. There might be some people who get a lot, but understand they're going to have a dry period too. I don't know anyone who, once I discover who they are on a deeper level other than just on the mask, all of us humans have issues. So don't be discouraged. Please, if you're feeling lonely, if you're feeling like things aren't working out for you, ask yourself, are you doing the homework really? And can you be okay if you're just having a dry spell? And the answer is yes. You can be okay if you're having a dry spell. Just hang in there. Get back on the wagon with doing what you usually do. And if you haven't changed anything and it's happening, what could you do differently? Like, one of the things I did is I started reading a different morning reading. You know, do you have a little daily reflection book? Well, I changed that up. And I changed my prayer life, my conscious contact with my higher power, my God. So instead of being in deep meditation in the mornings, I was getting pretty good at it. I was proud of myself. I was just like, once I got 20 minutes down, something clicked, and I could have been in meditation all day long, every day. I loved it. I felt like I was built for it. But I hit a plateau with it to where it wasn't really connecting me anymore. It was cool. It was fun. And I'll do it once in a while anyway, just to calm down my nerves, my high blood pressure. But it's not what gets me closer to God, to my higher power. And you know, I'm not preaching any kind of religion. I'm just saying that's part of what helped me on my journey, is to not feel so alone, because I have such normally left to my own devices, such a deep sense of aloneness that's easily triggered if I'm not really taking care of myself. Definitely ponytail day. Oh, God. So I started doing the whole, I had read an article saying 17 seconds of quiet breathing helps us slow down. It just takes 17 seconds. So I started looking at the clock throughout the day and tried to do it every hour, just taking 17 seconds of breathing and letting go and connecting and rooting into the ground, sitting straight, taking a breath, feeling my weight in the chair, my feet, being aware of how the position of my body and my posture and how my feet connect with the ground. Done. That quick, that easy. And I needed that centering throughout the day. And I've been doing that now for a couple decades, and that really helps me. So now I feel like I'm my constant companion. My higher power, my God, is my constant companion. So I just wanted to touch base on that because I really don't hear a lot of people talking about how to keep that deep, deep loneliness at bay. And this is one of the ways I do it, is I remember how that, yes, we are all going to have our struggles, and some of them are ugly, and some people's struggles I'm jealous of, because I'm just like, dude, I'd change you. I would trade you my shit for your shit any day, right? But the problem with that thinking is their tolerance level for stress may be completely different than mine. The things that I went through, somehow I was gifted with the tolerance to be able to survive it and to somehow learn some magnificent lessons of love from other people who tried to help me. And I may not have seen it at the moment, but I saw it as I got older and really started doing deep work. And I certainly see it now, how those painful events were evidently part of the journey that got me to the level I've been able to get to. Oh, I'm not saying I'm grateful for those things happening because I'm thinking I could have learned my lessons a different way. But I guess I've just come to believe that that's why I'm here on earth, is for my spirit to grow, for my soul to grow, which gives me more harmony when I return to my Maker. I visualize myself hanging out with Jesus or whoever you want to call your higher power. I'm just saying, in heaven, hanging out with the other cool conversations. There was a book called Conversations with God a long time ago. And I thought that was pretty interesting. That was helpful on my journey. I reread it a while back, and it didn't quite click with me as well. But I remember when I first read it, I was staying the weekend with a friend, and she told me to read it to help me fall asleep. She left it on the bedside table, and it was very helpful. And then there was a book called Jesus Calling. That was another good one. So I like to think of God and Jesus, and I grew up in a Christian, Midwest Christian, not Southern Bible Belt Christian. And I didn't know a lot about Catholic, but that was scary because I was always so curious. I looked at a lot of different religions. Matter of fact, I had a Bible that was structured in a way that I could study 4 different style of Bibles at the same time. And I've read the Quran. I've explored different religions, and I just to try to find my own rhythm with it. I'm sharing this with you and knowing that some of you are not going to like it very well, what I'm sharing, maybe hang up on me or unsubscribe. I get it. There are a lot of people who don't want to hear anything but their particular religion. But I can tell you what saved my life is recognizing that I wasn't alone in needing something outside myself and outside my horrible experiences in life. I needed something bigger than those things, those events, to feel like I had a reason to live. Because I was so lost for so long that it made sense to cut the cord, to just go out, to stop. Yeah. I was ready to stop. Some of you know what that means. Party over. Why bother? And then I just kept, I don't know, I accidentally met one last person. It was like I kept meeting and going through things that made me curious as to, it just seemed like I was getting little tidbits that kept me feeding, that kept me looking down this trail, even though I wasn't sure about it. And then I finally had that one last experience that helped me make the decision to stay. And since I made the decision to stay, that meant to me, because of all the research I had done, if I'm going to stay, I need to make it worth it. I need to make it worth it. I'm not going to just exist. I'm not going to just hang out and be bitter and keep living and doing the things I was doing because it made me sick. It was poison. It made me more flexible and in a state of surrender. Like, okay, tell me what to do next. And I stayed with those healthier people. They were healthier than me, to help guide me and teach me how to live each day at a time, how to feel supported. And for me, it was a recovery group, and they had meetings all day long. All day long. Alcoholics Anonymous, my home group. They call it home group when that's the one you really let people get to know you and you get to know them. I needed a home. I needed a home. I had never had that. And I needed a family. I had never really had that feeling that someone cared. They were my first introduction to what I could have with my higher power, with my God. And that's what parents are generally for. I see you, I hear you, I care about you. And that's what we're supposed to believe from God. But I didn't get that training. So I thought I was in the world all alone. And truthfully, yeah, okay, we are in the world alone. But when you have a connection to a higher power, or when you have a connection, even small ones, to other humans, it just makes life so much different, so much more colorful. Oh, my heart, it almost aches for the joy, the gratitude that I have for the beautiful people who have been in my life to help me on my journey. My journey's been kind of lonely this last 5 years and awkward because I changed up my life enough that when the pandemic happened, I hurt. I really hurt. But since things have opened up, I'm socializing more and making some gentle friends here and there. But I have been in connection with my higher power, and that's really important. Okay, so now I know I'm just babbling, and I don't know if you're getting anything out of this, but if you're hurting, a higher power, whether you believe it or not, fake it till you make it, pretend, have an invisible friend, whatever it takes to help you not feel alone. Say hi to a neighbor. Go for a walk and just say, hey, neighbor. Reach out to someone who's been trying to reach out to you, that you like, that you feel safe with, and just say hi. You don't have to do anything special. Go to the animal shelter and hang out with the cats or dogs just for a little while. You don't have to adopt anything. Go for a walk and breathe the air. And recognize how uniquely special it is just to be able to be outside. And if you can't go outside, listen to some music that you like and dance in your chair. Don't let this world swallow you up, because life is not about this world. Life is about how we connect to ourselves and our God, our higher power, our soul through the challenges. I don't know. If you get anything out of this, fine. If you don't, you quit watching a long time ago. So have a great day. Just venting and sharing my gratitude for the exchanges we've been having and for this option, this outlet. So if any of y'all start a channel where you get to vent, feel like venting like this, please let me know, because I will tune in. All right. Frankie gave up on me too. All right. Love you guys. Bye for now.